what happens when someone vanishes, and technology captures the moment. CCTV footage, bank records, phone logs, train tickets, camera photos. In the past, people disappeared into mystery. Now, they disappear despite the evidence. Varna Airport, Bulgaria, 2014. Security cameras show a man sprinting out of the terminal in panic. He runs into the distance. The footage ends. He's never seen again. King's Cross Station, London, 2007. A 14-year-old boy buys a one-way ticket, boards a train, arrives in the city and walks out of the station. From that moment, nothing. Panama Jungle, 2014. Two hikers take a wrong turn. Their phones keep recording. Their camera keeps clicking. The final images they captured, they raise more questions than answers. 3 disappearances, all documented, all tracked, all captured by technology. And yet, no one knows what happened next. Tonight, we're examining 3 cases where every step was recorded, every timeline confirmed, every piece of evidence analyzed. And the answers still don't exist. Because sometimes, knowing where someone was last seen doesn't bring you any closer to knowing where they went. Let's start with the footage that millions have watched, but no one can explain. Lars Mittank was 28 years old when he traveled to Varna, Bulgaria with friends for a summer vacation in June 2014. He was a German tourist, working in shipping logistics, with no history of mental illness or erratic behavior. The trip was meant to be a simple getaway, beaches, relaxation, nothing unusual. On July 6th, the second-to-last day of the trip, Lars got into a minor altercation with other tourists at a local bar. He was punched in the ear during the scuffle. His friends wanted to take him to a doctor, but Lars insisted it was nothing serious. The next day, July 7th, his friends flew back to Germany as planned. Lars stayed behind because a doctor advised him not to fly with a ruptured eardrum. He was prescribed antibiotics and told to wait a few days before traveling. Lars checked into the Viva Hotel near Varna Airport. He stayed in room 407. Over the next few days, he made several phone calls to his mother back in Germany. During one call on July 8th, he told her he didn't feel safe. He claimed that 4 men were following him and that he needed to hide his wallet in a specific spot. His mother tried to calm him down, suggesting he might be experiencing side effects from the antibiotics. He agreed to see a doctor the next morning. On July 8th, Lars visited a medical clinic at Varna Airport. The doctor examined him and found nothing physically wrong beyond the minor ear injury. While waiting in the clinic, Lars appeared increasingly agitated. According to staff reports, he paced nervously, glanced repeatedly at the entrance, and seemed distressed. The doctor wrote him a prescription and advised him to return home. Then came the moment captured on airport CCTV. At approximately 2:00 p.m. on July 8, 2014, Lars Mittank was inside the airport clinic's waiting area. Security footage shows him sitting calmly for several minutes. Then, without warning, he suddenly stands up, grabs his luggage, and runs. Not walks, runs. He sprints through the airport terminal, out the entrance, across the parking lot, and toward a nearby field. The footage shows him scaling a fence and disappearing into the surrounding area. He was wearing a yellow t-shirt, jeans, and carrying only a small backpack. His luggage remained in the clinic. His passport, money, phone, and return ticket were all left behind. Airport security reviewed the footage but saw no one chasing him. No confrontation. No apparent threat. He simply ran. Despite massive searches involving Bulgarian authorities, German investigators, sniffer dogs, helicopters, and local volunteers combing the area for weeks, no trace of Lars Mittank has ever been found. No body, no belongings, no sightings confirmed. Theories have ranged from paranoid psychosis triggered by medication or head trauma from the bar fight, to human trafficking, to voluntary disappearance. But none explain why, if he was experiencing a mental health crisis. No one has found him in over a decade. The area around Varna Airport isn't remote wilderness. It's a populated region with roads, towns, and surveillance. The security footage remains one of the most watched pieces of missing person evidence online. Millions have seen Lars Mittank run out of that airport, but no one has seen him since. His mother still maintains a Facebook page asking for information. The case remains open, and the footage keeps playing on a loop, a man running from something no camera ever captured. From a man who ran, to a boy who simply walked away. Andrew Gosden was 14 years old when he disappeared on September 14, 2007. He was a gifted student from Doncaster, South Yorkshire, England, quiet, intelligent, with no behavioral issues. He excelled at mathematics and was learning to play the guitar. By all accounts, he was a typical teenager from a stable, loving family. On the morning of September 14th, Andrew got dressed in his school uniform and left his home at the usual time. His father, Kevin Gosden, saw him leave. Andrew walked to the bus stop as he did every school day, but he never boarded the bus. Instead, Andrew walked back home after his parents left for work. CCTV footage later confirmed he returned to the house around 8:30 a.m. He changed out of his school uniform into casual clothes, a black Slipknot band t-shirt, black jeans, and black shoes. He left his school bag behind but took his PSP gaming device, £200 he had saved, and his keys. At 9:35 a.m., Andrew walked to Doncaster railway station. Security cameras captured him withdrawing £200 from an ATM inside the station. He then purchased a one-way train ticket to London King's Cross. Not a return ticket, just one way. The ticket cost £31.40. He boarded the 9:35 a.m. train. The train arrived at King's Cross Station in London at 11:20 a.m. CCTV footage shows Andrew leaving the station through the main exit. He's seen walking alone, calm, carrying his PSP. He exits onto the busy London streets and is never seen again. What makes Andrew's case particularly baffling is the complete absence of any subsequent trace. His bank account has never been accessed. His PSP never connected to any network. His phone, which he left at home, couldn't be tracked. No one matching his description was admitted to hospitals. No body has ever been found. No confirmed sightings have been verified. Investigators have exhaustively analyzed his final movements. He had no known reason to go to London. No concert tickets, no appointments, no online communications suggesting a meet-up. He was close to his family and had no conflicts at home or school. He didn't take his phone, which was unusual for a teenager, even in 2007. He bought a one-way ticket, but had enough money for a return fare. He'd never run away before. He'd never expressed interest in leaving. In the years since, thousands of reported sightings have been investigated. 2 sightings from the day he disappeared were taken seriously. One at a Pizza Hut near Covent Garden around 12:00 p.m., another at Southend-on-Sea later that afternoon. Neither was conclusively confirmed. In 2021, 2 men were arrested in connection with Andrew's disappearance after online communications raised suspicions. Both were released without charge, and the investigation returned to a standstill. Andrew's family has campaigned tirelessly for answers. His father maintains a website and social media presence dedicated to finding him. Age progression images show what Andrew might look like today, now in his 30s. But without any activity, financial, digital, or physical, hope dims with each passing year. The question that haunts investigators: why would a 14-year-old boy with no apparent problems buy a one-way ticket to London and simply vanish? If something happened to him in London that day, why has no evidence ever surfaced? And if he's alive somewhere, why has he never made contact? The last confirmed image of Andrew Gosden is him walking out of King's Cross Station into one of the most surveilled cities in the world, and disappearing completely. From a city with thousands of cameras to a jungle where 2 phones kept recording everything. Kris Kremers, 21, and Lisanne Froon, 22, were Dutch students who traveled to Panama in March 2014 to volunteer with children and study Spanish. They were close friends, responsible young women with their whole lives ahead of them. They arrived in Bakwit, a small town near the Panamanian jungle, on March 29, 2014. On April 1, 2014, they decided to hike the El Pianista Trail, a popular tourist path known for its scenic views. They told their host family they'd be back by dinner. They brought Lisanne's Canon camera, both of their phones, and some snacks. The weather was clear. The trail was well marked. It should have been a simple day hike. The first photos on Lisanne's camera show exactly what you'd expect: 2 young women enjoying a beautiful hike. They're smiling. They're photographing the landscape. Timestamps show they reached the summit of the trail around 1:00 p.m. They took photos at the Continental Divide, the highest point of the path. Then, at 1:54 p.m., they took their last normal photo, a shot of the trail ahead, descending into jungle on the opposite side of the summit. This was beyond the marked trail's turnaround point. For reasons unknown, they kept walking into the unmarked jungle instead of heading back. When they didn't return that evening, their host family contacted authorities. A search began immediately, but the dense jungle made progress slow. Days passed. No trace. 10 weeks later, on June 14, 2014, a local woman found a backpack in the jungle along a riverbank. Inside, both girls' phones, Lisanne's camera in working condition, money, and some personal items, all dry despite being in a region with heavy rainfall. The backpack appeared to have been deliberately placed, not washed up by water. What investigators found on the devices was deeply disturbing. The phone logs. Both phones showed systematic attempts to call emergency services, 112 and 911, starting at 4:39 p.m. on April 1st, just hours after their last photo. The calls didn't connect due to lack of signal. They tried repeatedly over the next several days. April 1. Multiple emergency call attempts between 4:39 p.m. and 5:00 p.m. April 2. Further attempts throughout the day. April 3. More emergency calls, one phone's battery dies. April 6. Lisanne's iPhone turned on briefly, no calls made. April 11. The phone was turned on repeatedly in the following days, with one phone showing 77 failed call attempts. The phones were being turned on and off, seemingly to conserve battery while checking for signal. The last phone activity was April 11, 10 days after they disappeared. The camera. Of the 90-plus photos taken on April 1st, the first 87 showed a normal hike. Then, nothing for 8 days. On the night of April 8, 7 days after they disappeared, Lisanne's camera was turned on in complete darkness. Between 1:00 a.m. and 4:00 a.m., 90 photos were taken. These images show complete darkness, with only the camera flash illuminating small areas. Random shots of rocks, branches, the back of Kris's head, distinctive red hair visible. A photo of what appears to be a trail marker or stick formation. Images pointing up at the jungle canopy. Close-ups of nothing identifiable. A photo showing the back of Kris's head with what looks like blood or red material. The photos appear frantic, disoriented. Some suggest they were trying to use the flash as a signal. Others think they were documenting their location. The sequence stops at 4:00 a.m. The remains. In the following months, scattered bone fragments were found miles downstream from where the backpack was discovered. Kris's pelvic bone. A rib. Lisanne's boot with her foot still inside. 33 bone fragments total. Forensic analysis showed no evidence of foul play, no knife marks, no bullet wounds. but the bones were bleached in a way inconsistent with natural decomposition in that environment. Some bones were never found. The mystery. What happened between 1:54 p.m. on April 1st, last normal photo, and 4:39 p.m. first emergency call? That's 2 hours and 45 minutes unaccounted for. Why did they continue past the summit into unmarked jungle? Did they get lost? Were they fleeing something? Why were 90 photos taken in complete darkness a week later? What were they documenting? Why that specific night? How did the backpack remain dry and intact while their remains were found, scattered miles downstream? Theories range from tragic accident, they got lost, fell, injured, couldn't find help, to foul play, locals involved, evidence staged. Dutch investigators concluded it was likely an accident, but questions remain unanswered. The final image on that camera, taken at 4:00 a.m. in total darkness, 7 days into their ordeal, shows a rock face and scattered brush. It's labeled Photo 509 in the sequence. Whatever happened to Kremers and Lisanne Froon in that Panamanian jungle, their phones and camera documented their desperation, but not their fate. 3 people, 3 documented timelines, 3 disappearances that technology couldn't solve. Lars Mittank ran from an airport. The cameras captured it, but no one knows what he was running from or where he went. Gosden walked into London. Thousands of cameras, millions of people. He vanished anyway. Kris and Lisanne kept calling for help. Their camera kept recording. Their phones logged every desperate attempt. It didn't save them. 3 cases, every movement documented, every timeline confirmed, every piece of evidence analyzed by investigators across multiple countries. And still no answers. This is what makes modern disappearances so haunting. We have the technology to track, record, document, but we don't have the ability to explain what happens when someone steps outside our view and never returns. If you followed these cases, drop your theory below. The airport runner, mental break or something else. The London train, accident or intention. The lost hikers, tragic wrong turn or something darker. Share this with someone who follows true crime. These cases need attention. Families need closure. Subscribe to WhisprFrame for more documented mysteries where the evidence exists but the explanations don't. Because technology can show us what happened, but it can't always tell us why. Some people vanish despite being watched, and that might be the most terrifying truth of all.